It's been over 2 years since the Danganronpa 3 anime came out. The end of Hope's Peak Academy received a fair amount of criticism. Some of these criticisms I understand, at least to an extent, but others bother me. One thing I've seen a lot of people discuss online was the brainwashing. I've seen people complain that the brainwashing was stupid, that it came out of nowhere, that it was lazy writing, and so on and so forth. This particular criticism always bothered me because after looking back on the entire series, I think Kodaka and the other writers made it very clear that 1. Brainwashing was used to acquire Class 77B, and 2. Brainwashing was used to help fuel the tragedy long before the anime's release. When Danganronpa 3 first aired, some people tried to defend the brainwashing by referencing a scene from the second game. During the final class trial, it wasn't really a trial if you think about it, Makoto Naegi states that Class 77 had been brainwashed, and that the Neo World program was trying to remove the effects of the brainwashing. I appreciate everyone who took the time to point this scene out, and I'd like to contribute by saying this isn't the only time the game references brainwashing. During Goodbye Despair's Chapter 6 investigation, Hajime Hinata comes across a tablet computer in the laundry room. The tablet states the following: "Therefore, it is possible to undo trauma sustained in the real world through the use of the virtual world. However, this device is for psychotherapeutic purposes only. Any other use is expressly forbidden. Though it is highly effective in treating brainwashing, abusing the device risks total personality destruction." In other words, the Neo World program was designed and built specifically to treat trauma caused by brainwashing. Ergo, the anime wasn't being random. It was simply explaining when the 77th class was brainwashed, where it happened, and how. For those of you who haven't read Danganronpa Zero, don't worry, what I'm about to discuss isn't that important to the plot. It doesn't spoil any major character deaths, and it won't ruin any of the twists or surprises. Anyway, in the 7th chapter of Volume 2, the female protagonist comes across a room filled with people wearing Monokuma masks. Each Monokuma person is sitting down in front of his or her own computer, watching what we can assume is Ryota's brainwashing video, over and over and over again. The Student Council killing game is referenced several times throughout Danganronpa Zero, and this chapter's description of the video makes it very clear that the people on screen are the victims of the Student Council killing game. Hence, the Danganronpa 3 anime shows a brainwashing video featuring the Hope's Peak Student Council killing each other. Again, the anime wasn't being random. It was being faithful to the pre-established canon. It's worth noting that Monica Toa, like Junko Onishima, used brainwashing to try to achieve her goal in another episode, Ultra Despair Girls. Remember the Monokuma kids? Remember the helmets they all wore? Well, in Chapter 5 of that game, Komaru Naegi and Toko Fukawa discover that those helmets were actually brainwashing devices. Monica used them to get all the children in town to do whatever she wanted them to do. Wreak havoc in Toa City, kill adults, give Komaru and Toko tests, etc. The method of brainwashing Monica uses is different than the one Junko uses, but seeing how much she idolized Junko, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where Monica got the idea from. It really bothers me when people complain about the brainwashing in Danganronpa 3. It bugs me when they say things like, "Oh, it was stupid," or "Oh, it came out of nowhere," or "Oh, it was such an asshole, it went against everything that happened in the series up until that point." None of that is true. Brainwashing was seen and mentioned several times throughout the series. We see it in Danganronpa Zero, It's referenced twice in Goodbye Despair, and Monica mimics Junko's strategy in another episode, Ultra Despair Girls. Danganronpa 3 didn't do anything wrong. All it did was explain where the brainwashing videos actually came from. Now, as I said at the start of this video, there are criticisms I understand to an extent. One of my favorite YouTubers, Nico B, did a reaction and review series for the Danganronpa 3 anime. He acknowledged that Kodaka had established that brainwashing was used back in Goodbye Despair, but he also said that he didn't like how fast the brainwashing took effect. As someone who doesn't agree with most of the stuff Nico has said about Danganronpa, its characters, its themes, certain scenes, certain plot points, etc., I think that's a reasonable criticism to make. Although, Ryota is the ultimate animator. He's been drawing anime and incorporating brainwashing techniques into his work for years. Unlike Junko and Makuro, he's a professional who knows what he's doing. Junko herself said that she needed Ryota to make a second draft of the Despair video because the one she and her sister created was insufficient. The twins couldn't perfect Ryota's technique. So, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense that the brainwashing took effect so quickly. The efficiency of the videos is testimony to how skilled Ryota is as an animator. Of course, Mikon Samiki, the first person to be brainwashed, was brainwashed off-screen by the first draft, the one created by Junko and Makuro. Maybe if the anime actually showed Mikon being brainwashed by Junko and Makuro's video, and then some random person being brainwashed by Ryota's, that would have been a good way to compare and contrast the efficiency of different versions of the same video. That aside, I have no issues with the brainwashing in the end of Hope's Peak Academy. I wanted to make a video discussing this because there is information about it sprinkled throughout the series, so I don't think it's fair to be so critical of it. This, of course, raises a question. Why? Why did the brainwashing in the end of Hope's Peak Academy throw so many fans off guard? Why didn't any fans see that coming when all that information was spread out across the series? The simple answer is this. They just forgot and came up with their own ideas for how everyone fell into despair. But that raises another question. How? How were they able to forget something so crucial to the series? Well, I have a theory. One of the sources I used as evidence in this video was Volume 2 of Danganronpa Zero. Unlike some of the other Danganronpa light novels, this book was never officially translated and released in the West. There are fan translations online, but not everyone has the time and energy to look for and read the novel. Because of this, YouTubers who discuss Danganronpa sometimes announce spoiler warnings in their videos. So, a lot of fans probably don't even know about that one scene from Chapter 7. Because they were missing a piece of the puzzle, they were unable to connect the dots, and it became a lot easier to forget about the other evidence they did have access to. That makes me wonder, were Japanese Danganronpa fans angered by the brainwashing in the end of Hope's Peak Academy? Or were they perfectly okay with it because, unlike the non-Japanese speaking fans, they had access to all the content and information? Maybe if Danganronpa Zero had been localized, more people would have known that brainwashing was essential to the series. Maybe if more fans had read Danganronpa Zero, they would have picked up on all those other clues. The Neo World program was designed to treat brainwashing? Well, that makes sense. I mean, we saw a bunch of people being brainwashed in Danganronpa Zero. The 77th class was brainwashed? Oh wow, that's crazy. I wonder if they were in the room with all those Monokuma people in Danganronpa Zero, but we just didn't know because their faces were covered and they hadn't been properly introduced yet. Oh wow, Monica's brainwashing people too? That's crazy! This, of course, is pure speculation. I don't know how Japanese-speaking fans actually feel about the brainwashing in Danganronpa 3, and I don't know if having access to Danganronpa Zero would have made a difference for non-Japanese-speaking fans. But it does make me wonder why Danganronpa Zero was never officially translated, when, in my own opinion, it's the most important light novel in the series.